How are you? All right. I want to give you the update on my Macros 101 journey, I'll call it. And I'm in the stage right now of a reverse diet. But as you may have heard me share over the summer, I had been in maintenance for at least 3 or 4 months at around 2,000 calories. At that time, as a Faster Way to Fat Loss client, I did not yet understand really that there were phases like maintenance and reverse dieting and cutting and bulking. I learned that when I joined Macros 101 in June this past summer, June 2021, and realized, okay, looking back at my FitnessPal data and my results, because I had been collecting data, I was at maintenance. And so I said to myself, okay, I'm going to choose to do a cut. And some of you all just shared in that poll I posted in this Macros 101 support group. You also wanted to do a cut. I think that was most of you, or the most of the respondents. The cut for me, I planned to last about until we went on a Mexican vacation. And that was such a great learning for me. And I hope maybe you will share if it is for you too, and share it with your friends. That Amber teaches us in Macros 101 that instead of just being on a diet until we reach some magical number on the scale, we should set a time on the calendar, a time frame for our cut. And that really sets us up for so much success and such a good mindset. And that really helped me. So I had chosen about a 6 to 8 week cut. I wound up in week 8 adding on about 200 calories before we left for our Mexican vacation because I was feeling so hungry. Excuse me. I said, I could tell I'm going to start sabotaging myself and eating way more and not even wanting to track it if I don't stop this cut and add on. And if you want to hear some of how that went, I can tag you in some posts I did there in my Well Women's community. I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with everyone and saw it as I didn't fail in week 8 of my cut. I made a really good decision and it worked out really well. And I was able to do that and not just self-sabotage and say, diet out the window, eat all the things, this never's going to work, who cares, give up, I'm 46, who has time for this, it doesn't work anyway. Instead of all that self-sabotage, which wasn't even true, I was able to say, you know what, if I add on 200 calories this week, all I'm doing is starting my reverse diet, which is the next step after a cut. Let's do this and see what happens. I did that. I felt great. I actually saw the scale go down and my measurements go down. Then we went to Mexico for a week and I did not track at all. It was interesting because it wound up like I didn't really like the food there. They didn't have good desserts and I don't drink really. So I think I probably just ate as many calories. Like I bet you I was eating about 1860 calories. Next week, I consider kind of like the third week really of my reverse. And so that's what I'm saying this week is 9 weeks of reversing. So we get back from Mexico and I weighed 147 pounds, but my measurements were all up just a touch. But I knew I am one who, when I travel, I get so bloated. I just retain all the things. I can't go to the bathroom for a few days. It's not a pretty picture. We did sleep really well there and get in tons of steps though. So I just took all of that data. I just wrote it down. And here's where I keep my data. You keep your data in where it works for you. If you're a spreadsheet girl and you haven't looked at the Macros 101 spreadsheets for keeping all the data, there's even a special one for the reverse. Let me know. I'll help you find it. There are spreadsheets there. They're pretty intricate. If you have this progress tracker for Macros 101 for a cut, fantastic. I loved using this. I used that for my 8 weeks of cutting. And then there is a reverse diet tracker you can print from Macros 101 as well. That's a little bit more like this, a little bit more pencil paper, not a spreadsheet. So if you haven't found those resources, let me know. You just have to be keeping your data. That's what I've learned through this process. The two biggest learning pieces I've had is don't be afraid to use the scale. It's good practice in taking its power away. And if you're going to use the scale, also be taking body measurements and pictures along the way. Just the more you do, the more data you'll have, the more you'll change your mindset, the more success you're going to have. It just is how it is. So here's where I've been keeping all of my data all of that time. And I saw when we got back from Mexico, measurements a little up, weight way up, because I had started my cut at 150. Before we left for Mexico, I was at 142 on this scale. Come back home from Mexico, day 1, I'm 147 on the scale. But can tell, like my belly's all bloated. We just need to get back home, readjust. I checked in Macros 101, said, does this kind of happen at this, I did a cut, then a reverse, we took a vacation. They're like, yes, totally normal. Do not panic. So I tried not to panic. And I'm always transparent that the scale still has power over me. When I saw that 147, I was like, well, I'll be damned. I did all this hard work and now I weigh 147 pounds. You've got to be kidding me. But luckily, that little speech in my head went away quickly. And I was like, nope, Amanda, just write it down. Write down your measurements, take your data, and stay here for a week at 1,850 calories. Let's let this just settle down. And so after that week, everything did settle down. My scale weight went, whoa, way down. And so I've been adding on, long story short, I've been adding on 100 more calories a week when I see the scale weight go down and the measurements go down. And that's what's happened almost every week. Now, there's been 2 times when my measurements have stayed about the same, or maybe it'll be like all of them stay the same except for one goes down. And the weight on the scale moves up. And that's when I have my period. And I also use bioidentical hormones. So I know all of those pieces matter for me, and that's just more data for me to say I'm not going to freak out when I see the scale go up and down or my measurements go up and down. And that has been key in being able to stay in this reverse for 9 weeks and not freak out or stop or say this isn't working. Is if I didn't have this data written down and didn't have Macros 101 and just some other ladies understanding reverse dieting talking around me, I might have given up because I would have seen sometimes the scale went up. I might have said, oh no, this must be my maintenance, or I ate too much. This is too much. I got to go on a diet again. All of that could have definitely happened and sabotaged me. But with the knowledge that I just got to keep using my data to make informed decisions, I've been able to stick with it. So this week, I had my period. So I saw the scale weight go up from 142 to 144 average. It was really average like 142 and a half to about 144 and a half. And my measurements went down in only one measurement. The rest stayed the same. So again, this week I said, instead of adding on 100 more calories on Monday, because I've been checking my measurements on Monday mornings now, or Sunday mornings. I said, we're going to stay at 2,130 calories, and let's collect some data again at the end of the week when my period will have been done. My body will be coming back into kind of more of where I'm not holding a lot of water. So I'll check I've been weighing myself this week, writing it down on my agenda. I'll show you where are we? My gracious, almost the end of September. Writing down all my data. I've got all my notes about my sleep and when I started using my bioidentical hormones and measurements, if we went out, when we go out to eat, because all of those things I've observed over time really do make my scale weight go up and down. So I'm recording. I will make some informed decisions on Sunday about, hey, maybe 2130 calories is near my maintenance and I'm going to stay here. Or if I see the scale go even further down, the measurements even further down, perhaps I'll add in 100 more calories and see how that goes next week. So let's say I add on 100 more calories. And then next week I see the scales up again and the measurements don't change or they go up. That'll be a good sign that I have found my maintenance, that my body needs between like 2,100 and 2,200 calories for maintenance in general right now. And again, I always like to add the caveat that even your car doesn't always burn the same amount of fuel. And it's a machine, right? Like sometimes you can get a little further. It kind of depends on how many hills you went on, how well you drove. So we shouldn't expect our bodies, which are awesome machines, but are also human and not run by computers and algorithms, to have some kind of exact amount of fuel that will be our maintenance either. So I'm just going to keep that in mind and keep reminding everyone. Then what are my next steps after I've reversed? So remember, I was in my cut. I'm reversing to find my maintenance. Once I find my maintenance, what do I do? What do I see in the head for the future for me? Well, I love learning from Amber. Not only that we should have a time frame for our cut, a beginning date and an end date that we just choose because it works for our tolerance for how long we want to cut and works for our schedule. I also love learning that it's important to then stay in maintenance for at least as long as you were in your deficit. So for me, I perceived the deficit was about 8 weeks, and then I've still really been in the deficit for the past 8 more weeks, really 8, 9 weeks. That's about 16, 17 weeks of deficit, right? Not maintenance yet. So I plan to be at maintenance for the rest of the 2021. For me, that really works. I have lived in maintenance before and tracked macros in maintenance through holidays. I really liked it. It really felt good. I like tracking. I like finding new ways to make it faster and easier, finding meals that work and I just save them and don't really have to track as much, and sharing with that with all of you. So that for me will really work. Does that mean that's the answer for you? No way. It means you just have to think about your personality, your schedule, your life, and schedule the phases of macros around it. So it'll work for me to be at maintenance through the holidays, and then in January, when everyone's usually on a cut, I will go into another cut because I have some more body fat I want to burn. So that's my long-term view. Be in maintenance through the end of 2021, which will give me my 17, 18 weeks of maintenance. That will be what my body needs to be well enough to do another cut. Then do my cut and make it about probably an 8-week cut. So probably cut in January and February. And at that time, I'll be able to determine what my cut calories will be. We'll see. I'm going to, again, as we learn in Macros 101, base that cut percentage off of where I am at maintenance before I start the cut. Now, will my maintenance stay 200, like say 2,100 to 2,200 calories all the way through all those 18 weeks of maintenance? This is a quiz. If you say yes, it will stay, check A. If you say no, it might change, Amanda, check B. B, yes, maintenance might change. And I'm in the Macros 101 group that you can do after Macros 101. It's called Beyond Macros 101. I have their monthly membership right now. I wasn't willing to commit to 6 months at a time, though she did offer that. So I'm doing their monthly membership. And so it's neat to see there's a lot of other women there in maintenance, and if they are working on increasing muscle mass, so they're doing some muscle training, they're saying, I'm seeing that I've had to add on more calories. My maintenance is increasing, and they know, the way they know that is they are like, though I am working to build muscle, the scale weight's going down over time and my measurements are starting to go down again. So my body's telling me, if I want to keep putting in enough fuel to be at maintenance, I need to put in some more fuel. So I will be tracking and I'll be keeping my data. I just love doing that. And it may show me that in those 17, 18 weeks I plan to be in maintenance during, I'm thinking part of October, November, December, my maintenance number might change. It may become that I need to have 2,300 calories to stay at a level where my body is not changing. My body's getting the fuel that it needs. And won't that be interesting? So if that were to happen, that really makes you see, oh, well, then next time Amanda does a cut, which again, remember, I'm planning probably will be in January for about 8 weeks, I will take from that 2,300 calories and cut. So my cut won't have to be as low. Is one of my intentions I have for myself. One of the things I see for the future is next time I do a cut, I won't need to take my calories as low. And for me, that's a nice thing. I like feeling like, I could have 1,700 calories in a cut instead of just 1,600, that type of thing. So again, that's something I'm seeing for the future. And it really just motivates me to stay taking care of myself, knowing that, oh, I know this step is next, and this and this and this, and I know what to watch for. I know the data to collect. I know it's all just data. It is not me feeling out of control or disempowered or not knowing what to do or feeling hopeless and helpless. And that is the biggest takeaway I've had from this whole experience. And of course, I sincerely hope that you're having those kind of takeaways right now as well. Unfortunately, in my version of Facebook, I am not seeing if anyone had any questions in the comments. So I'm so glad if you got to be here live. Please, 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 if you catch the replay, feel free to put your questions or comments here if that's helpful to you. I sincerely hope so many of you have gotten into a wonderful support group during Macros 101. You have great accountability around you in lots of places. And if you need to hear, post. You are always welcome to post in this group. That's what this group is for. I will go back now that I'm finished sharing where I am at this point and type up some information into the still part of this post so you can kind of put your eyes on that and really see the concrete evidence that I have that your scale weight will go up and down even during a reverse, and you will also probably see measurements go down even when the scale goes up. And it really is an important time to lean into the women in Macros 101, the coaches and the other women there but alongside you, so that you don't let your mind play tricks on you and say this isn't working, Instead, you let yourself stay the course and make data-based decisions like a macro scientist, so that you can get to the place where you're not just a macro dieter anymore and you're a macro scientist. Because what's the point of wanting to get there? Well, you get so much more happiness. You feel so much better. You feel so much more empowered and confident and strong and energized. You're getting in lots more fuel. You're helping your metabolism. If you're a woman over 40, you are so helping your hormones, because eating at a deficit is such a stress on your body after 40. It is hard on the hormones that are already moving and trying to find somewhat of a balance, because we're just not in hormone balance between 40 and menopause. It just isn't how things go. So the more we can do to boost our mindset and boost our physical body, the better we're going to feel. And that's why we're all doing all the things we're going to do. We just want to feel happy. We just want to feel better. We just think, if I do this thing, I'll feel better. So I'm doing this thing. And it's true. So I, again, am so proud of you. Please, please, please post any questions you have in these comments, and let us know how it is going for you, so you can stay on this journey of becoming the macro scientist that you deserve to be, and get the results that you want for yourself, and not give up along the way, even when it's weird and rocky and the scale's going up and down and up and down and you're just not sure. That is just how this is, in my opinion. And I think that's why maybe this using reverse dieting and staying in maintenance and only using a cut for a short amount of time, spending less time on a diet than you do being in maintenance. That's why all of that isn't mainstream. What's mainstream is all these crazy diets all the time, because they kind of give you a lot of razzle dazzle and you feel like you're doing something, and it can be like, oh, I just follow these rules and I get this one result, and it feels so much more black and white. But we all know that is smoke and mirrors. That is not reality. Our bodies aren't black and white. We are a gray area, and all the more reason to be a macro scientist. Take some of the emotion out of it and just let yourself see this data you're collecting as data to help you get what you want for your body long term, so you can really have the big things that really matter in life, like your wellness and your happiness going forward. All right. I'm so proud of you all. Let me sign off and go get some more information up in the post with some numbers, so you can really see how the scale's gone up and down and up and down. And let me think. One last piece of the puzzle I think I forgot to mention was that I have been a little bit better, but I want to work on this even more, of taking more pictures during these processes. I think I'm not sure why I'm not in the routine of taking pictures every time I do measurements. And I think that would help, especially pictures like this and then like this, if you're trying to build muscle, so you can kind of see, and even taking measurements of when you're flexed to see if you're building muscle. That is more something that's when you're in reverse or maintenance, though. If you're in your cut, building muscle isn't your body's first priority, so you don't want to try and make it yours either, or else you're just not going to feel success. In your cut, your priority and your body's thinking is, we're burning fat over here. That's what we're doing. But again, I even think, I wonder why during my cut I didn't just take pictures every week as well, or like a video of myself. If you follow the Faster Way to Fat Loss, Lindsay Murray is one of the marketing directors of the Faster Way to Fat Loss, and she has been on her weight loss journey for a long time. But over the past 10, 12 months, she shared a lot of video updates very frequently. And I was like, that's a really neat way maybe to even see some progress, as long as you could keep your camera angle at the same and, kind of like have on a similar check-in outfit for yourself. So I will be over here working on that, because I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I could share some more progress pictures? I'll see what I've got. But I did not take them as frequently as I think would be helpful to do so, just to, again, have that big average in mind, like we're doing with our scale weights and macros 101. Remember, hopefully you haven't missed that part. When we're using the scale to track data in macros 101, and then for me, I'm like, let's just do this everywhere in our life. It's not just a macros 101 thing. This is just smart. Is if we're going to use the scale for data, we are collecting that data maybe every day or every other day to your tolerance level. And you're then adding up those numbers and dividing by how many data points you had, so you get a scale average weight that you're looking at. Because hopefully you've noticed, like I did, that when you check your weight every day or every other day, it goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And who knows why? Like sometimes you're like, well, why did the scale go up 3 pounds? I have no idea. Why did it drop 3 pounds? No idea. It's not because I gained 3 pounds of body weight or lost 3 pounds of body weight, or because I gained 3 pounds of muscle in a day or lost 3 pounds of muscle in a day. And that's what I really am, those are the things I'm prioritizing. So more pictures from Amanda, averaging our scale weights, keeping our data, and hanging in there and reaching out for support, because you are not doing it wrong. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. We're just here learning and collecting data and taking great care of ourselves and being okay with that. My journey is going to take the time that it takes. And when we're really honest with ourselves and you really think about it, do you really even want the journey to end? I don't. Then I'll be dead. My wellness journey has no end until I die. And then it'll be something else, right? So let's be okay with that. It just takes the time it's going to take. We never have to be perfect. We never have to get it right. We just stay on the journey and see what's going to come next, and really believe it's just going to keep getting better and better. Your success truly is inevitable, and it is just going to keep getting better and better. All right. Have a fantastic Wednesday, and I will check in with you ladies very soon.